Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Gardener. I'm your host, Jennifer Ebling. It's May 17th. Are you feeling it yet? The urge to get going in the garden? I was reading a book from 1915 about spring, and it started this way. If you are not dead, you will feel the sap start within you. Everyone comes to the garden in their own time. If you're not yet ready to put your pots together or take on gardening the way you did last year, that's completely fine. Sometimes the seasons of our lives don't align with the seasons of the year. If that's happening to you this season, please know that it is okay to take a break. Instead, enjoy the beauty around you in ways that feel right to you until you feel that sap start within you again. Here's today's brevities. On this day in 1510, Italian Renaissance master Sandro Botticelli died. His painting, Allegory of Abundance, or Autumn, is one of his most elaborate and detailed drawings. It depicts an abundance of flowers and fruits. Today in 1874, the horticultural hornet, George Glenny, died. He was called the horticultural hornet by Will Tjaden. Known for his sharp tongue and difficult personality, he was critical of John Claudius Loudon, Joseph Paxton, and Joseph Harrison. And yet he was benevolent, assisting the efforts of numerous charities and causes during his time, like the Duke of York column in London. Glenny started the Horticultural Journal, which was followed in 1837 with the first garden newspaper, the Gardeners Gazette. These early accomplishments brought Glenny much satisfaction. He knew his work was being taken to heart by his readers. As the editor of his paper wrote, "There will be few to deny that his vigorous pen has contributed as much as that of any single writer to the great and ever-increasing popularity of gardening amongst the people." Through it all, Glenny was a devoted garden writer, sharing his knowledge of gardening with the people week in and week out through the very first gardening column and through numerous other articles and writings. His books were affordable. Anyone could buy them, and they did. Today in 1934, the Times Herald out of Port Huron, Michigan, shared quite the article about plant exploration. The USDA would receive an annual batch of letters asking about agricultural exploring as a career, what the job was, how to qualify for it, and what the future prospects were. The article shared those answers. They were formulated by Knowles Ryerson. He said, "I would not want to discourage any boy from the effort, but there is no denying that any would-be plant hunter has a man-sized job ahead of him if he is to prepare himself to qualify for one of the relatively few openings." So no lady plant hunters need apply, apparently. Today is the birthday of Bernadette Cozart, born in 1949. She founded the Greening of Harlem Coalition in 1989. She transformed Harlem, bringing flower gardens and green spaces. It was Bernadette Cozart who said, "Instead of taking children on field trips to see farms and gardens, why not bring nature into the community? I don't think it's fair that they should have to go outside the community to have that experience of seeing things grow." Today in Lafayette, Colorado, the Colorado School of Clinical Herbalism starts their Rocky Mountain Field Botany Certificate course. It's designed to provide a thorough introduction to field botany, positive plant ID, wild crafting ethics, and this year they will have an additional focus on wild edible plants. Today in New Zealand, there's a one-day interactive workshop. It looks tremendous. This is a unique opportunity to hear and learn from industry leaders about how to start and operate a successful market garden. And the setting for the workshop is absolutely gorgeous. It's on the 105-acre Green Cauldron Farm set in beautiful Telgum Hills, just 1 hour from the Gold Coast in New Zealand. Amazing. For today's Unearthed Words, it's the poem May and the Poets by James Henry Lee Hunt. It's a poem naming just a handful of the poets who have written about Maytime. There is May in books forever. May will part from Spencer never. May's in Milton, May's in Prior, May's in Chaucer, Thomson, Dyer. May's in all the Italian books. She has old and modern nooks where she sleeps with nymphs and elves in happy places they call shelves, and will rise and dress your rooms with a drapery thick with blooms. Come, ye rains, if ye will, May's at home and with me still. But come rather, thou good weather, and find us in the fields together. Today's book recommendation is The Golden Circle, published in 1977. It's by Hal Borland. This is a book of writings for children arranged by months of the year. I love these month-by-month books. The drawings in this one in particular are outstanding, and you can get used versions of The Golden Circle, a book of months, for less than $6 on Amazon. The link is in the show notes for today's episode. All right, for today's garden chore, it's another Photo Friday in the garden. Today, we're going to take pictures of all the trees in the garden. The trees in your garden provide you with tremendous structure and a ceiling, making your space seem more intimate. Finally, here's something sweet to revive the little botanic spark in your heart. After researching George Glenny, I came across his obituary, which appeared in Lloyd's weekly newspaper about 10 days after his passing. It talked about how for 25 years, Mr. Glenny's garden article had faithfully appeared in the paper. In fact, he'd sent in his last column to the editor only a day or two before his death. He had titled this last article, A Few Words for Myself, but then he must have had a change of heart because he'd crossed that out. Whatever new title he thought would be better never made it onto the page. His readers, no doubt, were moved by his recollections, especially since they read them with the knowledge that Glenny was gone. Here's what he wrote about his life. 67 years ago, I had a very fine collection of auriculas and of 20 rows of tulips, and visited several good amateur cultivators from whom I received great encouragement and occasionally presents of flowers and plants. I cultivated my stock at Hackney. I was soon old enough to attend floral meetings, and from observation of the doings of the most successful amateurs, I had become a very successful grower of the auricula, the tulip, ranunculus, polyanthus, and other florist flowers. I had learned something from everybody and took many prizes. I then wrote treatises upon all the flowers I had cultivated, and they were all founded on my own practice. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener, and remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day. The Daily Gardener is produced weekdays in lovely Maple Grove, Minnesota. You can find complete show notes over at thedailygardener.org, and be sure to share the show with your garden friends. You can find The Daily Gardener on all your favorite social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest, and of course, Facebook. While you're over at Facebook, don't forget to join the Daily Gardener community. Just search for these 3 words, Daily Gardener Community. The group will pop right up, and then request to join. Finally, I want to thank my team at Podfly Productions, where my fabulous editor is Eric Begay. Have a great weekend in the garden, and we'll see you on Monday.